first question, determine the length of AB. I think this is quite an easy one. So I want you guys to give this a try. Please just ignore the gray splodge there. I don't actually know why it's there, but just ignore it's there. You are looking for the length of AB. Again, you're trying this by yourself because I think that this is a nice easy one. You can all do it. Length of AB. Remember, identify where your unknown length is. So there it is. Apparently I can highlight in a straight line. So that's apparently a skill I have. It didn't get any better. Right, there we go. And then guys, also remember that what you want to do is you want to identify your hypotenuse, and your hypotenuse is always opposite your right angle. So I've actually done half the job for you, but let's go. Let's work out the length of AB. Please remember your reasons. I'll wait in anticipation for answers on the chat. Right, and grade 8, remember Pythagoras we can use in two ways. Either we use it to work out the unknown side length, like you're doing now for AB, or as we learned in Monday's lesson, we can use Pythagoras to prove a triangle is right angled through the converse of the theorem. Okay, so there's two uses for Pythagoras, either to find a missing side or to prove a triangle is right angled. We're hopefully going to get to practice all of it today, but just bear that in mind. Okay, does anyone want to raise a hand to explain how they got AB? But I did so well on warning you. Anyone English? Anyone want to raise their hand to explain? You're all getting it right if that helps your decision making. Maya.
Evening, ma'am.
Evening.
I basically said 8 squared plus 15 squared, and 8 squared gives me 64.
Good.
And 15 squared gives me 225. I added those together and I got 289. And then I the square root of 289 is 17. Yeah.
Nice, well done. So guys, really important there. Remember, whenever you're looking for a side length, you do exactly what Maya said. You have to square root, and exactly it's 17 centimeters. I have forgotten something in my working out. I haven't put a reason, so just remember your reason. Pythag. But Maya, that was beautifully explained. Thank you so much. Well done. Alrighty. So nice and easy, straightforward. We worked out the hypotenuse, and that is that. Right, so I'll leave it like that. I want you guys to now have a look at question B. Again, you're going to try it by yourselves. And you are looking for, in question B, the length of BC. Okay, so I'm not going to help you any more than highlighting where BC is. Wish I could highlight in a straight line. Let's give question B a go. Remember your reasons, like I've said. I want BC's length. And grade 8, remember, it is fine to get decimals or weird like answers with a square root in them, it's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Round off to 2 decimal places. Please also remember the units in your answers. So both of these have had centimeters. You need to have centimeters in your answer as well. Yeah. Seen one answer so far. 2 answers. Okay, guys, I did say 2 decimal places, but it's fine if you're doing 1. But always just remember to either listen or read your instructions carefully. Good, I'm liking the answer so far. I also love that we're putting our reasons. I love that we are remembering our units, and I'm so glad that we are rounding off correctly. Very nice, grade 8s. All right, does anyone want to raise their hand to explain this one? Nice, Chantal. Should be a pop-up to unmute. Oh, there we go.
Evening, ma'am.
Evening.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, so I said BC to the power of 2 is equals to 20 centimeters to the power of 2 plus, minus 6 centimeters to the power of 2.
Nice.
And then, ma'am, I got BC to the power of 2 is equals to 400 minus 306.
36.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And then, ma'am, I got 30 BC to the power of 2 is equals to 364 squared.
Nice.
Yeah,
364.
Yes, ma'am. So I square rooted them.
Nice.
And ma'am, I got BC is equals to 19,08.
Excellent. Well done. Okay. So guys, Chantal, okay, I'm gonna start my sentence again. Chantal beautifully explained that. I also just want to point out, so what Chantal did here in the first step, I'm happy for you to do. There's nothing wrong with that. You do not need to say 20 squared is equal to BC squared plus 6 squared and then do the inverse operations. If you want to immediately have BC squared as your sort of subject of your equation, that is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with starting as I have over here. Just remember, you're then going to have to subtract the 36 on both sides, but it makes no difference. You get exactly the same answer. And honestly, the way Chantal's done it here is actually the way that will make your lives a lot easier in the future. Right, obviously remember your reasons, remember your units, and just very quickly, in case anyone's not too sure of the rounding, I'm going to sneeze again. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, okay. The rounding 19,07878,403. That's what your calculator gives you. Now, if I tell you I want it rounded off to 2 decimal places, remember what that means is I want the number to stop 2 numbers after the decimal. So this 8 rounds the 7 up to 19,08 centimeters. Your rounding all looked really nice. Some of you rounded up to 1 decimal place, which isn't the end of the world, but those of you that did do 2 decimal places, well done. Very good rounding. All right, grade 8, so let's take screenshots of these two. Whilst you're doing that, if anyone has any questions, now's the time to raise your hand and ask. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next question. Okay, screenshots, questions, otherwise I move on. Okay, I'm assuming no questions. I'm assuming we have our screenshots. Let's have a see. Okay, so again, C and D, you are looking for the unknown lengths here. Let's try them both at the same time in this instance. First one, I'm looking for the length of AB. So there's AB for you. And the second one, I've just said the unknown length. I was a bit worried I couldn't spell there. Right, so our unknown length is essentially the side that has no length on it, which is this one down at the bottom. If you want to put an X there, so if you would prefer to say determine the length of X, and you want to put an X here, I have no problems with that. But either way, I want C and D answered. Christian, I'm not too sure what you're asking of me. Do you need me to go back to the last question? Did you not screenshot it? I'm not too sure. I'm assuming that's what you mean. So there is question B. You guys, C and D are still up. No problem. I'll move back in a second. And guys, please lumber your questions like Lubanzi has put there on the chat, and Nondeka. C answer, D answer, just that we know which is which. Okay, so there's C and D again, just a little bit bigger. Remember your reasons. Remember that whenever you're solving for an unknown length, so whenever you need to find the side length, you are going to have to square root. So always just have that in the back of your mind that you're going to have to square root somewhere. Just remember to number your answers, please. Otherwise, I don't know what's what. And remember, guys, should you get a decimal or a fraction answer, you round off to 2 decimal places. I'm going to give you another 2 minutes. Let's see where we're at in 2 minutes. I have only seen answers for C so far, nothing for D yet. Remember, make sure you square root. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 more minute and then we'll go through it. Nice, Maya. I like that we gave both answers at the same time. Well done. And guys, remember your units. I see that we are putting units in our answers, but remember, if there is a unit, we need to put it in. Don't worry, Roha, I honestly just thought about the units. So just add it into your answer. I only just clicked anyways, that's all. Okay, I'm not doing hands just yet. As soon as we've gone through it, we'll do some hands. Okay, both of these questions are in centimeters, just an FYI. Okay, guys, let's have a look. All right, so for question C, longest side is AB, so that's our hypotenuse. So we've got AB squared is equal to 24 squared plus 7 squared, and this is all because of Pythag. All right, 24 squared, I want to say is 576, but let's just double check, 576. So AB squared is equal to 24 squared, which is 576, plus 7 squared, which is 49. Right, so adding those two together, I get 625. As you guys have already said through the other examples, we know that what we need to do now is we need to square root both sides in order to get just AB, not AB squared. And so we end up with AB is equal to 25. And again, centimeters, there's a unit for your answer. So make sure you do put your unit in. Okay, so in this case, my answer was 25 centimeters. That was the length of AB. Again, guys, please just wait until I ask for hands. I haven't asked for hands yet. Right, the second or question D. Sipasihle, please wait until I ask for hands. I'm busy explaining. Thank you. Righty, so longest side is 14. So I actually have my hypotenuse here. So 14 squared is equal to x squared, if that's what we're going to call it, plus 10 squared. This is all because of Pythag. If, guys, you wrote this as x squared is equal to 14 squared minus 10 squared, that is absolutely fine. Either one, you will get the answer. Right, I'm just going to carry on from here. So x squared is equal to 14 squared, which is 100 and something, 196, minus 10 squared, which is 100. And so x squared is equal to 96. Now remember, I don't want x squared, I want x. We're going to have to square root both sides of our equation in order to get x alone. And square root of 96 is equal to 9,79795888888971. Right, 2 decimal places like I asked. So I want to stop after the second decimal. The 7 rounds the 9 up to a 10, which rounds the 7 up to an 8. So technically 2 decimal places here is 9,80 centimeters. 2 decimal places means there must be 2 numbers after the comma. So even if that number is a 0, it should be there. Okay, there's a question of why did I say plus at C but minus at D? So let's just quickly have a look-see. So in question C, I'm looking for the hypotenuse. That's my unknown. So when I am looking for the hypotenuse, I add. However, in question D, I had the hypotenuse. So whenever I'm looking for a side that isn't the hypotenuse, I have to subtract. Okay, so when I'm looking for the hypotenuse, add. When I have the hypotenuse, subtract. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. While you're taking screenshots, now is the time for anyone who needs to raise their hand to do so and ask their questions. Obviously, if you still have questions, you can ask them in the chat, but now is the time where you can raise your hand to ask anything. Specifically, if you want to raise your hand now, that's fine. You can answer. There we go. Okay, what's up?
So, ma'am, I was asking, when do you know when to minus, ma'am?
Okay, so did you hear my answer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect, well done. Okay, guys, I'll write a little summary of when you should add and when you subtract now. I just want you to screenshot and then I'm going to move over and we can do that. Question, will we lose any marks if we don't add a formula? No, it's not necessary. What is necessary is that you put your reason. Okay, so make sure your reason Pythag is there and then it's okay. Right, I'm assuming we've all got our screenshots. So I'm just going to write that little summary for you guys. Okay, so when we have the hypotenuse, that's not how you spell hypotenuse. Let's try that again. Hypotenuse, we will add squares. And then we will square root. Okay, now importantly, this is when we have the hypotenuse. Terrible highlighting choice. Let's try that again. So this is when we have the hypotenuse, we add, and then we'll square root. Yo, guys, the English, not when we have. Okay, let's try this again because my brain has stopped working. Okay, right. When we want the hypotenuse, we add and square root. This term is incredibly long for us only being back for like 3 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to say it in words. When we want the hypotenuse, right? So in my right angle triangle, I'm looking for the hypotenuse. Remember, the hypotenuse is this weird curved side that I'm apparently drawing. So this is my hypotenuse. When that is the unknown side, we will add the squared sides and then we will square root. Okay, that's if we want the hypotenuse. However, if we have the hypotenuse, we will subtract, and your order of subtraction will be the hypotenuse squared minus the other known side squared. And then again, you will square root your answer. So it is only when you have the hypotenuse do you subtract. Okay, that took a ridiculous amount of time on my part. I apologize. When you have the hypotenuse, you subtract, and then you square root. Right, so if you need that little summary for yourself, let's take a screenshot. Otherwise, clearly my brain needs a break, so we're going to take a brain break, and then we'll carry on with some more examples. Again, if you need the summary, you can take a screenshot. Obviously, you don't have to if you don't need it. But that is essentially how we go and decide when we add and when we subtract. Okay, right, brain break. Like I say, clearly my brain is in need of a brain break. Never mind, please ignore me. Just pretend I'm not talking at this point. Okay, so I thought my little math stroke here was very applicable to the section we have been doing. So I hope you enjoy. You guys know the drill with the brain break. I nearly said the maths 24. Guys, clearly I'm done with the week. Let us find the value of this last equation. Very Halloweeny in spirit. I know Halloween was yesterday, but you know, we can't have a lesson all the time. So let's give this one a go. I'm pretty sure I have the answer here. Yeah, so let's give it a go. First one to get the answer correct will be the one I pick on to explain it for us. But let's give it a try. And while you're doing that, I am just going to take a brain break.
Let's go, my pips. Let's go. We can do this. I have load shedding. Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. What stage are we on at the moment?
I have no clue. I don't even follow it anymore.
You just wait and see.
Yeah. Ariane, E.T., nope. Let's go. What about the rest of you? What are you saying? Let's see. Who's getting it for the first time? Teacher Sam is also having a brain break. Maya, you need to put it on the chat first. Stepo, you got it at fast speed. What a genius. Thank you so much for all of you who tried, but Teto got it first. So Teto, you want to raise your hand and explain to the rest of the class? No problem, Maya, no problem. Oh, I can see all of you are actually doing it right now, but Teto was the first one. So Teto, you can just explain to us. I have unmuted you on my side. You can unmute. There we go. Thank you everyone for participating. Y'all are geniuses. Thank you. You can explain, Teto. Hello, is Teto there? So you know you might have some audio problems. Definitely if you are putting headphones on, we might not hear you.
Yeah,
if you
let's
are
try
talking,
again.
there's something wrong.
Yeah, so Tetel, just double check your audio connection. I've muted you for now. I'm going to unmute you in a second.
Just we can't see the whole screen. So we're seeing the lol parts. We can't see the the numbers.
What? No?
It's just you'll have to shift. No. You'll have to shift it on your right hand side.
Right. What can't you see?
You know the numbers. No, the brain break itself.
Okay, can you see it now?
Not all of it. It's not fitted on the
What?
screen.
Okay, hang on. Let's reshare the screen. Tato's having a problem. I'm having a problem.
Yeah.
Wild.
Teto has disconnected the buds. So Teto, you might raise your hand now so we can be able to
Yeah, let's try. Can you see the
no, but
brain
they're
break
saying that
now?
they can see it. Look, for me, it doesn't matter. They're saying that they can see it.
Okay.
Do you guys
okay.
can you guys see everything on the brain break? Can you see everything, like the all the numbers that you need for the brain break? Yes.
This is crazy. I
Teto
don't
is saying
understand
no.
technology.
Okay, majority of them are saying yes, so it's okay. I'm using a computer and I can't see everything. So we're
It's so
gonna
weird.
unmute you on your side. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. So there's a pop-up on your side. So just try and get it. There we go. Hi. Oh, I was hoping that it would
Teto.
work. Okay, so Teto, you're just having a problem on your end. It's okay, Teto. We know you got it first and well done. So I'm gonna choose the next person on the lane, on the queue. What's Jason? Jason, do you wanna raise your hand quickly and give us some answers? Thank you so much, Teto. We really appreciate it. Jason, you are the next one on the queue. Quickly, before time gets chowed, so we can do more maths. Going once, Jason, going twice. Okay, next one on the lane, Chantal.
There we
Chantal,
go.
there we go. Well done. I love that fast speed. Hi, Chantal.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, you can take us through it.
So I said 30 divided by 3, which I got 10.
Nice.
And I said 10 divided by 2, which I got 5.
Okay.
So ma'am, and then I got I said 5 plus 5. No, ma'am. Actually, I said 4 for the ghost.
Good, because 5 times 4 is 20, plus 5 is 25.
Yes, ma'am. And I
Nice.
said 4 times 2, which I got an 8.
Nice.
And then ma'am, I said 16 times 18, which I got 152.
Okay, guys, just remember it's BODMAS, so it'd be 8 times 18, which gives us 144, and then we would add the 8. But yeah, carry on.
And ma'am, I said 8 plus 5 times 9, which I got 53.
Good. And again, guys, BODMAS, so 5 times 9, 45, plus 8, exactly as Chantal just said, 53. Nice. Well done, Chantal. Thank you so much for explaining for us.
Thank you, ma'am.
What was I going to say? So yeah, guys, just remember your BODMAS, and also just remember when you've got 2 versus when you've got 1. I know, Oratile, I sometimes also forget about the BODMAS and I just go. So just be careful. We need to do BODMAS. All right. So that was a chaotic 5 minutes on my part, and Teto, you and I, Teto. But hopefully we got there in the end. So let's carry on with some examples. I just want to see what examples I have and give you a nice one. I can't hear my examples, but we'll just move on with it. Oh, no, I do. Please ignore me. All right, so question, let's not do that one just yet. Right, so question H. I know we're just going everywhere. It doesn't matter. I want you guys to give this one a try. This is what we spoke about on Monday. So this is a question where I'm asking you to show whether or not the triangle is a right-angled triangle. Okay, so this is the converse Pythagorean theorem. So let's see if we remember what we were doing on Monday. Our reason here is converse. And let's give this one a try. So like I say, we did this on Monday. So you have if you have your Monday notes with you, you can go back and have a look and see. What we're trying to prove, the triangle is right angled. Okay, so I'm fully aware that I'm not really giving you much to go on here, but that's because we did do it on Monday. So hopefully it's somewhat fresh in your brains. So let's see what we get. I'm impressed by how much we remember, guys. Well done. I don't think we always give you guys credit for how hard you work. So very well done. You should be proud. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 more minute. And then if you are feeling like you're going to be brave, you can get ready to raise your hand. Do not raise it yet. I will tell you when, but if you are feeling brave, you can start thinking about it. And some of you just need to double check what 13 squared is. It is not 165. Your answer is still right, your conclusion is still right, but it's not 165. Okay, does anyone want to raise their hand to explain how they did it? Chantal's on it. Nice, Chantal. How do we do it?
Ma'am, I said 13 squared is equals to 8 to the power of 2 plus 11 to the power of 2.
Nice. And then?
And then, ma'am, I got 169 is equals to 64 plus 121.
Good.
And then, ma'am, I got 169 is not equals to 185.
Okay, so the fact that they're not equals, what does that mean?
Ma'am, it is not a right angle.
Excellent. Well done. So therefore, it is not. Alrighty, so grade 8, couple things here. Firstly, Chantal has specifically said 13 squared equals because 13 is my longest side. So please remember your longest side is what we would substitute in place of the h squared. So remember, we still use Pythagoras. So we still use the Pythagorean formula. We're just trying to prove that the left is equal to the right in order to say whether or not it's a right angle triangle. If the left is equal to the right, it's a right angle triangle. If it is not, as in this case, we then conclude that it is not a right angled triangle. Now, guys, really importantly, it said, show if the triangle is right angled. So you actually need to go and say, yes, it isn't, or yes, it isn't, yes, it is, or no, it isn't. You do need to make that conclusion. Alrighty, so converse Pythag allows us to prove whether or not a triangle is right angled. So let's take our screenshots. If anyone has any questions, now's the time to raise your hand and ask. Oratilius asked, is the hypotenuse always going to be the bigger number? Yes. So guys, remember 2 characteristics of your hypotenuse, which is important, is number 1, it's always opposite the right angle, which is helpful if we know it's a right angle triangle. But in a situation like this, the second characteristic is important. The hypotenuse is always the longest side. And so we can use that fact in our proving of a right angle triangle. Okay, so screenshots, if there's any questions, raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm scrolling. Okay, don't do this just yet. I just want to check something. Right. I don't know why I chose to do H first, then go back to G, but it doesn't matter. Let's do basically exactly the same thing, but now for question G, we're just going on a whirlwind roller coaster mathematical ride tonight. So prove that the triangle below is a right angle triangle. Again, the second it says prove that it's a right angle triangle, converse Pythag. So let's give this one a try. And then I've got one more that I want you guys to do, which is sort of going to lead us into next week's new course. Oh, my whole neck just clicked. Okay, let's keep those answers coming. Remember, the whole point is to prove that the left is equal to the right. If it is, it's right angled. If it's not right angled. That we're all remembering our reasons. Well done. I'll give you 1 more minute. I keep thinking tomorrow is Friday, and it's really throwing me off my entire week.
Yeah, I also cannot wait for this week to end. So you're not alone.
I'm like, oh my gosh. I was so convinced we had to have a meeting today, and I was like, and I like argued with my head of department. I was like, no, but we've only got 1 lesson left this week. And she looked at me and she's like, no, like tomorrow is Thursday. We have 2 more days. I was like, oh, sorry, my bad. Nice, grade 8s. Alrighty, let's have a look. So just to run you through how you would do it again, even though we have done it, just to run you through. Identify your longest side. So in this case, this would be 17. And so that's what we substitute in place of h squared. So 17 squared is equal to 8 squared plus 15 squared. Remember your reason. If I could write my reason. Converse Pythag. Okay, so once we've done that, we can now start calculating. 17 squared is 289. 8 squared is 64. 15 squared is 225. If I now add 64 and 225, I get 289. And because my left-hand side, so LHS, left-hand side, is equal to the right-hand side, RHS, we can therefore say it is a right-angled triangle. Alrighty, so always identify your longer side first, because that's how you know what you're going to substitute and where. And then from that point, you can go and prove whether or not it's right angled. Okay, so just for purposes of if you didn't get the last question, there are the two questions that you've just done. It's take screenshots. And then I'm going to give you one more, because like I said, it's going to lead us into what we're going to start next week. And I already said to you right at the start of the lesson that Pythagoras still features in area and perimeter. So we still need to be able to apply Pythagoras. And this is why I love maths, because just because we've done a Pythagoras section doesn't mean I don't use Pythagoras anywhere else. We need to remember that maths, we don't learn in isolation. All of our sections come into each other, and we need to be able to apply it when necessary. Alrighty. Okay, so guys, this is the last one that I want you guys to do. So again, I know I'm jumping around, but it doesn't matter. The question says, determine the perimeter of the triangle. Okay, now we're only doing area and perimeter next week, so let's just make sure we're all on the same page. Can someone raise their hand? What is perimeter? So can someone tell me what is perimeter? Chantal to the rescue. Okay, Chantal, what's perimeter?
Perimeter is the total distance right round a 2D shape.
Nice. Beautiful definition. Total distance around a 2D shape. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Chantal. Okay, so guys, that is exactly what it is. Ariane put on the group, on the chat, the distance around a shape, or Atile said the sum of all sides, but in essence, that's perimeter. So just to highlight it for you, the perimeter of this triangle would be essentially the whole distance around the shape. So it's the sum of all of our sides. So that is what I'm asking you to do here. And I want you to think carefully. Do you have all three sides? If you don't, we need to maybe work it out so that we can get the perimeter. Right, I'm giving you 3 minutes, and then we will quickly do the answer before we end off. And you can round off to 2 decimal places if necessary. Good, guys. Keep those answers coming. More minutes. Nice, guys. Well done. All right, so let's quickly go through it. So if we want the perimeter, we would have to add 10, 7, and whatever this side is. So I need to go and work out my missing side length firstly. And to do that, we're going to use Pythagoras. So x squared is equal to 7 squared plus 10 squared. Remember, guys, if you said 10 squared plus 7 squared, that's fine. This is just normal Pythagoras, so it's just Pythag. So x squared is equal to 49 plus 100. And so x squared is equal to 149. We know we have to square root both sides. And so x is equal to the square root of 149. Now, grade 8, because this is not your final answer, I would actually leave my answer as square root 149, because technically you should not round off until your final answer. So that therefore means that if I now want my perimeter, and we abbreviate perimeter with a capital P, I can add all my side lengths. So the square root of 149 plus 7 plus 10. So when I add all of those values up, this is now where I could round off. I end up with 29,206,555,62 centimeters. Round off to 2 decimal places. The 6 increases the 0 to a 1. 29,21 centimeters. Whoops. Okay, so we had to do a little bit of working out before we could go and do our perimeter. So let's take a screenshot.